Hello, everybody, and welcome to the final exam review for the year. And we're going to start with looking at the eight themes of history. So you can find this document on your Schoology page under the folder titled Final Exam. And inside, I have listed that in each quarter there will be 10 to 11 different questions that I'll ask you for a total of 40 questions. There won't be any surprises, but let's look at the eight themes of history and we'll narrow it down. We'll make it real simple. We'll just focus on the eight. We won't focus on like the subtopics or any of the minor examples that we gave throughout the year. But let's take a look at the first one. So we have geography, and geography it shapes the nature of the world from which we ensure our physical survival. And when we talk about that, we talk about the different factors that will produce different types of styles of human society. If you think about where we live, we have the four seasons, so we have to build our houses appropriately. We have to dress accordingly, and so on. The next one is economic organization, and we said that there needs to be a guarantee to the basic necessities of life, and those five basic necessities are food, water, shelter, clothing, and reproduction. Then the third one was politics and law. Politics is government. Law would be rules, and as we live in groups, we have to learn to get along with one another, and that's why we developed both. The fourth topic was war and diplomacy. War is a conflict, diplomacy is peace. Um, you can have the threat of war, but still maintain peace. It does affect our development if you think about things such as like the internet, if you think about medical technology, then that is how war affects our development. And then, of course, the fifth one was technology, and that's pretty much anything that makes our life easier. That's what we view technology as. And it could be a simple fork, it could be barbed wire, it could be an automobile, it could be the internet or 5G, it can be any of those things. Number six, we lump together as religion, philosophy, science, and the arts. And these are pretty much questions and answers. So, religion and philosophy are questions, and science and the arts would be your answers, or at least the form of answers. Religion is a belief, philosophy is questions, science is a theory, and of course, the arts is an expression. Number seven was social relations. And when we talk about social relations, we're talking about forming an identity. And when we form identities, we think about our names or the names we'll give our children or that you'll give your children someday. Or um, y- although people can have similar names, so in the United States, we go to the Social Security. That's pretty much your ultimate social identity. Um, but things such as who you marry, the kids you have, how you yourself form in groups, the people you run around with, those are all social relations. And the last is cross-cultural interaction, and that's pretty much when two ideas from two separate cultures clash or come together and are shared between one another. And you know, the easiest one to come here is of course when we talk about things like food, like my favorite is Chinese food, or my favorite is Italian food, or my favorite is Mexican food. I mean, we get those from other cultures, and that's how we build upon those things. Our next topic is on campaigns, and one of the things that we pretty much want to talk about is what is a campaign, and a campaign is a strategy that a candidate uses to get their message across. Now, campaigns are usually run by the party, which means that a candidate has ideas and viewpoints, but they normally coincide with their party's platform or what they want to see get done. So, um, the question on the campaigning is when you talk about a campaign, what does it align with? And the answer would be it aligns with the political party's viewpoints. Now, propaganda is anything that is used to sway somebody. And we talked about this in the beginning of the year, but propaganda can be advertisements, it can be word of mouth, it can be things that change the opinions of other people. Example, I have here is the bandwagon. Just because everyone's doing it, everyone else should do it, blah, blah, blah. And that, of course, would be propaganda. It makes you jump on board. Now, when we talk about political participation, think of the voting. Think of getting out there, spreading the word, or joining a campaign, or helping a candidate out. Those are all things that would be considered political participation. And we're not going to delve too deep. Probably the biggest thing I want you to know is it's voting. So for this next one, we're going to lump this together, and I'm going to put types of governments here, and then we're going to talk about unitary, federal, and confederal system. And when we talk about types of government, you have obviously, like the United States, you have a democracy, a free democracy, and then you have monarchies, and you have communism, you have fascism, and the list is endless that we talked about. The only thing I really want you to understand is that the United States is and has been its own entity for 235 years. No one else runs the government like we do. Um, when we talk about communism, it's run usually by a dictator, uh, possibly totalitarian, meaning that it's ruled by a few. If you talk about a monarchy, you're talking about kings and queens running the show. Now, England really doesn't have that anymore, even though there's a figurehead for a queen. They use a system of parliament, much like our Congress. They have a prime minister. We don't have a prime minister. We have a president. So um, that's what we talked about in chapter one. So now the types of power that a government has is unitary, and that's pretty much when a central power has all, or the government has all the power, and they give the people nothing or very little. In a federal system, the federal system is run in which you have a central government that works hand in hand with a state government, but the central government is in charge. Um, and basically, the states have pretty much ceded their power to a central government. Central government then, of course, gives whatever power the states have. And the last one, of course, is confederal. Confederal is where the states have all the power and they give limited power to a central government. That's what you would have found under the Articles of Confederation, and federal system is what you would find today under the Constitution. So our next concept is liberty, and that's the ability of the people to act and think as they choose. We talk about our different liberties that we have, being able to go where we want, the constitutional freedoms that we have that we'll talk about soon, coming up for this weekend. But liberty is your freedom. It's what you have. It's your right. It's what you're allowed to do. The next concept is equality. And basically, we're saying that everybody has the same fundamental moral worth. They're entitled to have everything and equal opportunity that everyone else has, whether it's you know going from poor to rich, or the type of education that you have. Everyone is equal in our eyes. At least they should be equal. We know that we have to create laws to make that happen, but so to wrap things up, we're going to focus on the third bullet here. It's majority rule and minority rights. So majority rule is when more than half of the people decide on something, and the minority is supposed to respect the majority, and in turn, the majority is supposed to respect the minority and work together to make sure that the minority has at least some things that make them happy. And doesn't mean you shut them out entirely. And it's not supposed to work that way. It's supposed to work that they work hand in hand, but the majority does benefit or reap the benefits of society. And the minority, of course, they struggle, but they're still supposed to be given something. And when we see this through compromises in the United States, and as early as the Constitution with the compromise, small state, large state. So that takes us through day one. And those 10 questions will be asked on the final. Uh, Starting on Monday, you'll have the next set, and then we'll finish up on Tuesday, and your final exam will be on Wednesday. You'll have two attempts at it, 41 minutes, 40 questions, and it's a summary of everything that you find on this worksheet. All right, that'll wrap us up. I hope everyone has a great day, great weekend coming up, and enjoy this nice weather. Have a good day.